Hello and welcome to our broadcast, our webcast. And I'm Dale Matthews, and here's Mike Jones. Hello, Mike Jones.
Hey Dale,
Yeah,
are
welcome to
are
the
you
webcast.
so you have so many pants that you don't wash them anymore, you just burn them. Is that what you're trying to
No, he's
show us
got
here?
so many liars. This is
Oh, liar, liar, pants on fire.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yes, okay.
So, welcome to the night show. Now, I mentioned to Mike before this started that similar to what the city councilor should have done the other day, Mike is going to have to jump right in and say, I've got things to say. He's going to have to do that today because we've just got some of my favorite topics of all. Every once in a while, we have to kind of back up and we look at the situation. We say, this is important to do because when you're involved in something on an everyday basis, you all know this. When you're involved in something like that, somehow you don't see the surroundings, you can't discern the patterns. It's hard to develop a kind of an objective viewpoint. So we try to step back every once in a while and say, what the heck is going on here? So I know the kind of things that need to be done to get Mike going. And one of them that can be done is I mentioned certain topics, and like bacon covering certain kinds of pastries, and Mike goes, "What? It's true." And so here's
Uh-huh.
one that I think that Mike's really going to respond to. Sorry to turn my head around here, but LA leaders to outlaw certain gun magazines. LA leaders, this is from the Courier. LA leaders, okay, Los Angeles leaders are going to outlaw certain gun magazines? And it says, hold on a second, I'll try to see if I can make it just a little bit bigger. It says, the nation's second largest city, all right, is poised to ban possession of firearm magazines. What the heck? That hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Oh, now all becomes clear. Mike, what's your feeling about this? That you can't own certain kind of gun magazines, buddy?
Yeah, which is weird because I get Guns and Ammo and American Rifleman and all that kind of stuff. And
Where do you keep
you
them?
know what? I mean, yes, those are stacked up on my toilet tank. No, actually, I don't read any of those magazines. I do get, I think I get the American Rifleman, and it's just because I got an NRA membership, and that keeps that stuff coming to me. But
Chuck Connors
no,
starring in The American Rifleman.
oh, and listen, that was one of the coolest shows. The Rifleman, and that I always used to be really jazzed about his little his lever action
That
rifle and
was
how fast
amazing.
he could shoot it.
That
We all
really
tried
was.
to emulate that one
Yes, we
when we
did.
were out playing cowboys and Indians, and but no, they're talking about magazines, as in that feed bullets into your gun.
Yeah, they're not
As
outlying certain gun magazines. Who writes these headlines? Oh, I know. It's Kevin Whittison. Okay, Kevin
mm,
Whittison at the Daily Courier, LA leaders to outlaw certain gun magazines. And you got to be all the way at the end of the first sentence before you poised to ban possession of firearm magazines. What the heck? That
yeah,
hold
yeah,
more
that's
than 10
silly.
rounds of
That's
ammunition.
silly, but that's typical for California and their uh, gun control push sort of ways. I mean, I don't know when I left there, you couldn't have an AR-15 with more than like a 5 or 10 round magazine.
Well, that's
And if you
dumb.
had
Okay, I don't have an AR-15, but the whole idea of that thing is it isn't plink, plink, plink. Come on.
right, well, it is plink, 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 but then it goes plink, 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 instead of plink, plink, plink up to 5, and then you're done. It's people think that all AR-15s are fully automatic. That's illegal, by the way. You can't have
Oh,
that
oh, oh.
unless you have a class 3 license, and then you can, under very limited circumstances, own firearms that operate fully automatic. There's a big misunderstanding of
Or
people
if
that
you understand,
don't understand weapons.
people, if you understand certain people. But in this case, you can't even own a magazine talking about it. So that's nice. Okay.
No, that's not what it is.
All right. So I got another one, and this is also from the Daily Courier, my favorite newspaper. Don't use power equipment. It's a pretty serious story. Okay. So, and this is written by Jeff Duell of the Daily Courier. All right. Jeff isn't going to set it. Jeff is not Jim Moore. Jeff isn't going to head us wrong. What do we need to know, Jeff? Well, fire danger is now extreme. Okay, that is very serious. In addition to the public use closure, which they're going to talk about, the industrial fire protection level, okay, will increase to 3, whatever that means, and commercial operators will have to shut down at 1 p.m. What? Okay, now here's the article. One day after shortening the window for using power equipment, the Oregon Department of Forestry announced a complete ban in Southwest Oregon because of increasing fire danger. Well, that doesn't really explain a complete ban where. A heat wave that moved in Wednesday. A complete ban where, Jeff? Contributed to the decision. The shutdown goes into effect where? Goes into effect at 12:01 a.m., just after midnight, Saturday, this Saturday, on ODF protected lands. Okay, what are ODF protected lands, Jeff Duell? That's everything, pretty much everything outside national forest land. It is? ODF protects us, everything outside of national forest land? No, it doesn't.
Well,
I live outside of national forest land.
Yes, right, yes. But you live in the city limits, and chances are that regular grants pass fire is going to deal with that. Whereas I, living outside the city limits, I do pay for fire protection, and those people are supposed to be dispatched to come here. But ODF is also dispatched, and they do respond to fires in this area because, whereas the contractor is here to make sure that my house doesn't burn down or spread to others, the ODF is wanting to make sure that it doesn't spread outside my property to other buildings.
I totally understand that. Well, I think I totally understand that, and I'm entirely in favor of that. Good. Fire danger is extreme. But what this says is ODF protected lands are pretty much everything outside of national forest land.
All the way to Washington, D.C.
Who edits this? Kevin Whittison.
Yes, well, you know what? I think what they're trying to say is if you're out in the county, everything outside of the National Forest Service lands is protected by ODF as well. And I guess that's true. I don't know.
The Oregon Department of Forestry? People in Maine are going to be really upset. Yes. Okay, now this says... Now, it says it's complete ban.
What are you doing? Ban. Aren't you a little out of your jurisdiction, sir?
I packed a cab. Okay.
A little bit out of Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, it's a complete ban. It's a complete ban. Now, pay attention here, Mike. Residents may still mow lawns. What? And power equipment may be used. Now, wait a minute.
Well, okay.
Who wrote this thing?
The last I heard, and tell me if this changes from here. I'm holding my magazine. This is one of my magazines.
Yeah, that's what you have in the bathroom. I get it.
I can't turn the pages on this thing. No, what they're talking about, the last I heard was that you could run, let's say you're going to, use a chainsaw outside. You could run that up until about 10 a.m. and then you're supposed to stop and not do it. And commercial people can, they have a little bit more leeway and they can go up till 1 o'clock. So how is this different?
Well, this says, first of all, the headline says, don't use power equipment. That's pretty clear.
Yes.
Thank you to Kevin Whittison for writing that. Thank you, Kevin.
And the stupid thing about that is, in reality, for the most part, what we're talking about here is gas-powered equipment that has exhaust, which sparks may be emitted from.
I'm okay with that, but we
do not use a hairdryer. Women are like, oh, I'm not supposed to use power equipment.
Well, yeah, and what the heck is this? This is a battery on the back of our camera.
Right. Yes. It is powered equipment. Yes. Don't use it.
Oh,
We're using computers right now in blatant violation of this order.
don't use power equipment. It says a complete ban in Southwest
Yes.
Oregon. Oh, only Southwest Oregon. Thanks for clearing that up. Because of the heat wave, the complete shutdown goes into effect just after midnight, 12:01 a.m. on Saturday,
Mm.
and pretty much everything outside national forest land. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Welding, cutting, and grinding of metal activities, yes, that produce sparks must be completely curtailed by Saturday. So don't be welding and cutting and grinding of metal. I do that. I try not to do that when I'm driving. Don't do that because you can't do it at all. Don't use power equipment. What a
Yes.
stupid article. Okay,
Well,
I appreciate the fact that they're warning us. This is good. It's
yes.
important to know. But you think maybe you can reorganize the article a little bit first, make it factual.
Yeah.
Second, try to make it so that people understand who is affected by this, who, I don't know. When I went to journalism school, and yes, I really did go to journalism school, we had this rule: who, what, where, when, and why, and how.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, do you think that they could apply a couple of the basic rules of journalism to this? They could also, while they're at it, teach Jim Moore before you write an article, like the one where he said that the county had already approved that contract. You might also get two sources. I don't know, two sources. That would be nice. Mike?
Well, you know what's weird about this fire danger rating thing? A couple of days ago, they had a news story on where they said, as of 12:01 last night, the fire danger is gone from high to extreme. And I'm thinking of this big clock in the sky that went chunk. It's now high danger. What happened?
And just the
before
fact that clock is powered would be enough to start a couple of forest fires.
Right. And but at 2 minutes before midnight, it was only high. But 1 minute after, then it's extreme. That's one of these things. It just is that way. Some bureaucrat made a decision and they put a rubber stamp on something, and therefore it is.
All right. All seriousness aside, we should be careful on what we're doing with power equipment and all that. And you either can or you cannot use your power equipment either in a national forest or outside of a national forest. We don't know what, but stay tuned to the Courier and listen to Kjo, and they're going to set you straight on all things that you need to know.
But here, let me just tell you something. Idiots don't listen to these warnings, and smart people don't need the warnings. So,
well, now, wait a minute. Which one are we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we make fun of the warnings, not of the warnings of the stupid way in the thing was written. Give me
for crying out loud. Let's. I'm going to take one day and not worry about what somebody thinks of what I say. Damn it.
Oh, this is that day. Great.
Yes, this is that day. So be prepared for me to unleash.
Yeah, and Mike's going to come on the show wearing hot pants. Nice.
Yes.
You don't even know if
You're
he's
wearing
the
hot pants, not me.
Yeah, we don't.
You don't
even
know.
Yeah.
You don't know if I'm wearing pants.
That's right.
Listen, it's hot over here.
Yeah.
I'm soaking my bare butt in the Rogue River right now. Can't you see that?
Oh, now he's doing it during the whole show. Great. All right. I don't want these mental images. Okay, I got a mental image for you. One of the things that we're talking about on our show, and we've talked about many times, is at what point do you have it up to here with liars? At what point, because we all have people in our family or people we know in our neighborhood or people we've met that occasionally will just straight out lie to you. At what point do you say, you know what, that's enough. This person is crazy. I'm not going to trust them ever again. Or if I even see them again, I'm going to kind of go, okay, that's nice. Isn't that special? And then,
how you doing?
Goodbye. Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you an example. Let's suppose that you knew somebody. This is a mental image. Sorry to implant this into your head. As soon as this show is done, as many people do that watch our show, they'll forget all about what we said. Okay, so here's the mental image.
Or take your brain out and cleanse it thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay. So you're at this party, and there's a pool, and the pool at especially this time of year is full of kids. Okay. So somebody that you know comes in with a handful of feces. See, since Mike set the tone, I thought I might as well continue. A handful of feces, and they throw it into the pool in the middle of all these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for many of us, that would be enough to say, you know what? I'm never going to trust that guy again.
Yeah.
He's insane. Now,
Right.
some people, we see this on social media all the time. Well, was he at his own home? Does it really matter? These aren't all of his kids, even if those were his kids, even if those were his
Yes.
pets.
Yeah.
What? Okay, but they
Yeah.
will ask, well, was he at his own home? No, he's at a neighbor's home. Was he at the neighbor's home and he was complaining about the noise? Does this really make a difference? Okay,
Yeah.
no, he's not complaining about the noise. He's there as an invited guest, sort of like you
Mm-hmm.
are on this Facebook page. Okay.
Mm.
And he throws this stuff into the middle there. Now, here's the question to you based on our experience with the county commissioners. As just an example, I don't know why, we cover local politics. Once they do that kind of thing, are you going to forget about it? Are you going to say, well, there had to be a good reason? I don't know what it is, but there certainly had to have been a good reason. Mike?
Uh, for something like that, yeah, no, I don't think there's a good reason for that.
But we know people, and we see them all the time. We see all kinds of people in the work we're doing now that will come up with 11 reasons why this was
Mm-hmm.
probably okay.
Yes, but you know what? You understand that it's people's worldview and what they care about that makes them think that way. Because, case in point, right now, there's this situation with the multiple videos that are being put out about the happenings of what's going on inside Planned Parenthood, where they're dissecting abortions and selling the internal organs to some company to do research with. Now, some people hear that and they're outraged and shocked and amazed and flabbergasted. Other people hear it and immediately begin to rationalize, and it has to do with their worldview on the thing, you know. So, yeah, I understand why people do that.
Now, that's much more important than anything that we're going to talk about tonight. But that's not generally what we do on the show. We talk about local politics, and there's plenty of places to go for the other kinds of subjects, not putting it down in any way whatsoever, but we're the only ones that are covering and talking about and analyzing, how that word starts.
Well,
And
no, I was
local
I was using that as an example as
Oh,
to
yeah.
why
example.
people will take something that seems so blatantly true and begin to make rationalizations that you look at them and you go, what?
Yeah.
Well,
it's part of it is, such things have been happening. I mean, this is not a surprise to, or shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people. It's seeing the videotape or hearing about the videotape existing that really seems to make a big difference. Look, here's an example. Each of the three commissioners, there's nothing wrong with commissioners in general. Okay, some people think all government is evil or what. I don't think so. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I don't think that it is. But we have, through the luck of the draw, ended up with three commissioners who have blatantly lied about things. For example, we have a videotape of Simon Hare saying and doing some foolish thing, and I was trying to play it back, and he cut the microphone rather than let people see it or hear it. Well, see, that was a dividing point for me. When you've said something or done something and then denied that you said it, and we have the proof that you said it, then don't tell people you haven't. This happened with Keith Heck. He accused poor Mike Jones. He was accusing me, actually, but I'm going to say Mike, of doctoring that videotape. He even tried to get other people to join him in agreeing that it was doctored. It wasn't doctored, and we proved that. But see, he was willing to do that. And Cheryl Walker, and we can give you multiple examples of things that she said and done. She just did this again recently. I never said that. See, for me, it is as soon as you have them in a situation where they're denying that something happens and you've got the proof. This was my problem with Dave Toller. This is where I had my big falling out, and nobody for the Democrat Party will probably ever talk to me again. At least none of the local loons will talk to me. Maybe new people coming in from California. Because I said, no, wait a minute. I have tape of him doing that. And they said, so? So?
Yes.
I was
Because it doesn't
lost for
matter.
words. Go ahead.
Because it doesn't matter. But you know what? And because we're talking about this as a topic and trying to understand why people do it, the exact same thing is then happening inside this Planned Parenthood videos situation. The people inside Planned Parenthood are saying those videos are highly edited.
Oh,
Well,
no, they're using the same words as Keith
yes,
Heck?
yes, they are, and they're saying that, and you just watch the video. I mean, and contextually, everything, all of the incrimination is there. So this is what people say when they've been caught dead to rights and they need to rationalize it somehow. You're a bad person. They have to externalize it because otherwise they have to go, oh, well, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that or something like that.
Okay, so talking about these places where you draw a line, okay, you draw a line. I think most of us will agree that Keith Heck has a pretty good sense of humor when he's making sense. I don't think that Cheryl Walker does, but I know that Simon Hare does and can be a pretty funny guy. I felt that Gil Gilbertson was a nice guy and you wouldn't mind being at a picnic with him. It was a little strange. He had a belt buckle with the symbol of fascism on it. But, as he said, well, I didn't know that. Where do you buy such a belt buckle? Okay, anyway. But when he said, I never did that. And I said, but sure, if I was there. The Courier was there. Cajo was there. I think the guy was awake. We have lots of witnesses. We were videotaping it. Of course you did that. No, I never did. Up until that point, I was actually going to the meetings that were supporting the sheriff and advice and all this. And I said, no, that's just not true. And then he started to treat me like an enemy. Now, wait a minute. Maybe you're one of those people who say, but that Gil Gilbertson was a really good guy, except in this case, he's lying straight to my face. Who does that? And so at what point does that become the feces in the pool? I mean, everybody draws a line, I guess, somewhere differently. I don't like it when politicians, and we have 3 of them now. I've never seen this ever, any place I've ever been, and not here, where there were 3 of them at the same time who were willing to just say flat out, that never happened. I never said that. But we have it on tape. So?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing phenomenon.
Well, this happened yesterday morning, and that I got up at the weekly business session. You have heard basically nothing about Eco Northwest at a county commissioners meeting. Nothing. You've heard about them debating part of this. This is the firm that they're now picking to, and they will pick them. We figured that from the beginning. But this is the firm they're now picking to determine our economic future, and they're out of Eugene and Portland. Okay, so I guess they figure somebody from outside the area going to understand our area much better than 3 years of waiting for Cheryl Walker to come up with a plan. She was belligerent about it, buddy. I mean, they got into it. You've seen the tapes. They into a big fight. Why, this Simon Harris, and he's young enough to be my son, and I'm not going to be taking, and he's trying to take it away from me, and he thinks that we've got enough money to hire an outside firm. Why, that's crazy. Well, now, of course, that's what she's saying, that's what we're going to do. So very first time you've heard any of this in a meeting of the county commissioners, and I said, well, here's what happened at the city council meeting. So because we've not heard a single word about this, and it presented to us, and we've seen no presentation on a county basis, none, zero, none. And the presentation that we gave you, that was given to the city, was not by Eco Northwest. It was by the city staffers. You couldn't watch that until we put it out because the city hadn't posted it, unless you were there live to see it. So Going into today's meeting, Thursday meeting, the most important meeting of the week. Okay, this is politics. That's what our show is about. Going into this, on the agenda said the following thing. Boy, that was a long lead into this thing. It says, item B. I tried to make this real big so that you could see it. Approval of Eco Northwest Economic Development Strategic Plan proposal. And then this is the next item, matters from commissioners. Wait a minute. Now, we've heard nothing about this presented to the public for the county. The commissioners are going to spend $37,500 on this plan and get together with the city, and they're putting in $75,000. And this is the item from today's meeting in the little back room. The first time we ever heard of this was in the little back room. It was never brought out to a public meeting, if this is the way you want your government to work. And then now they're going to approve it in the little back room. Remember where they promised we'll never do that in the little back room? Approval of Eco Northwest Economic Development Strategic Plan proposal. Really?
Yeah.
And it's never, ever going to be brought to us? Now, why would they never, ever bring it to us, Mike Jones?
Because they do not want any of your input.
Mine or anybody's?
No, anybody's. I'm speaking generally.
Yes, right.
You know, they don't want you saying anything about it. They don't want you scrutinizing it and then possibly criticizing it.
Okay, so recently I asked the sheriff, I said, please, only if it's not going to take a lot of time, could you find out what happened to the $11,000 worth of missing television equipment? The stuff that was bought for us, that we've used. And we had to go out and buy new because this stuff disappeared. And he went to them, this $11,000, $11,400 as I recall. And Sheriff Walker said, well, I don't know. Okay, that's the end of investigation. Thank you very much, Sheriff. Okay, so this is $37,500. They're going to spend this money, and here it is on the agenda to be approved in the little back room with never bringing it to you. You don't know what the plan is. You know what? They don't know what the plan is. They don't know what they don't know what the plan is. The city doesn't know what the plan is. How's that possible? Nobody knows what the plan is. But we're going to give them the money, and they're going to come up with a plan. And brother, you're going to love this plan. Yeah, Mike, tell us why we don't need any economic development plans. Do you mind?
Well, and if what you're looking for is my opinion.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for, Mike Jones.
My opinion is that economic development is not something that happens as a matter of a structure that some people put together and say, well, what you need to do here is you need to put these little things here and those things over there. And, we need to have these special kind of people come in here instead of just going, hey, we're open for business here in Josephine County. We're not going to mess with you. As a matter of fact, we're going to use the economic development money that has been given to us by the state, and until this money is gone, all permits, all planning fees, all this kind of stuff is all free. So first come, first served. You'd have a mad rush. You wouldn't be able, they'd be busting the doors down trying to get in there to do business. And that is what we're trying to do here, I'm thinking. But now what we're going to do is we're going to throw a whole bunch of money down a rat hole, and we're going to get nothing for it because we've been down this road. We've seen this movie before.
Let's suppose that they're bound and determined. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's now state law with our new governor, and now you must spend money on economic development that's been given to you by the state. So where best to find someone that would understand our area and give us the best reading on what would be good for our area? Well, the best place to go would obviously be Portland or Eugene, right?
Sure, because, they have the answer. This is the funny thing. It's really, really presumptuous and arrogant of people to suggest that somehow they have the answer to economic development when history gives us the answer. When we set up this country and said you could come here and be free, people who lived in under governments all over the world where they couldn't do diddly without being checked at every turn, said, I'm for that. And they came here in mass. And some of them came for religious liberty and everything. But listen, in case you hadn't figured it out, economic freedom is freedom. When you are able to pursue a better lifestyle and attain a higher standard of living, this makes you freer to do other things which you might want to do. And a guy who's got several $billion in the bank, he can do whatever the heck he wants to do. He doesn't have to do anything if he doesn't want to. So, get into these arguments about, money being the root of all evil and all this kind of stuff. All you have to do is let people understand that the pursuit of your own personal interests is supported here. And what happens when, what clicks in somebody when they hear those words is, hey, I can go there and, I have a dream to be a pumpkin farmer. And, which may not be a good idea, but let's say pumpkins is going to make you rich. And you can come here and grow pumpkins, and you're not going to be being checked at every turn with somebody trying to regulate, what kind of pumpkins are you growing? How are you growing those pumpkins? What are you using to fertilize those pumpkins? All these sort of things. If you get off people's backs, they will come in mass. Right now in this country, let's say, for the sake of argument, the state of New York is right now trying to lure people to come there and do business because they've been very hostile to business, and they ran a bunch of them off. So they said, come here, set up your business in our state, and you can be here tax-free for 10 years. And a lot of people are taking them up on it. I think they're dumb because in 10 years, they're going to go right back to, screwing them again. So, but the bottom line is if you provide the freedom, people will come. They will. And, Hong Kong was a rock. It was a godforsaken, the only good thing it had was a natural harbor, but there was nothing there. And they said, come here for economic freedom. Boom. Everybody came. I mean, it became one of the most economically affluent places on the face of the planet. And what did they do? Did they hire an economic development firm to come in and tell them how to do it? No, because you know what? There have been so few examples up to that point. Nobody knows how to do this stuff. It's magic. It really is. It's the magic that is inborn in people when they pursue their own interests. And economic development.
It's too bad the British government didn't understand that about America, because see, Hong Kong was also under colonial rule, and if they had treated us in the same way, Britain, along with us, because we'd still be British, would be the most powerful country in the entire world, and now it slipped away from them.
Well, no question about it, but I think it was we that taught them that lesson.
I think that you're probably right. And now some Chinese are turning around and teaching it back to us.
Yes.
Aren't you glad that I suggested to Mike that he needed to jump in and get his words in, because I was going to be in this whole thing? Look, here's something that you're only going to see this here. You're probably getting used to hearing that. And that is talking about regulation of things and what does it really mean, and listening carefully to what's being said. I'm preparing for the videotape, Mike. Listening carefully to what's being said. Now, I know you're maybe like me and you're getting pretty tired of hearing about marijuana, but look, it's not about the product itself, a legal agricultural crop now in Oregon. It's not about the smell. It's about all of the regulations and all the backflips that these guys are doing. Here's something that you may not know. Listen very carefully now, because nobody else is saying this except for Mike and I. Listen very carefully to what Karen Firk, who is the recorder at the city, is saying about this new ordinance. This was the second reading of the ordinance, what it says. Listen carefully what it says now, and then we'll quiz you at the end. Go ahead, Mike.
So, Karen, if you would give us the second reading of the ordinance with amendment.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Grants Pass amending Title 5 of the Grants Pass Municipal Code by adding Chapter 5.72 Homegrown and Medical Marijuana to be amended as follows. Section 5.72.030A2 will now read, all cultivation, drying, curing, storage, production, processing, or possession of marijuana shall be conducted indoors, except that medical marijuana may be cultivated outdoors in accordance with state law until December 31st, 2015. Such outdoor cultivation shall be prohibited thereafter, and declaring an emergency.
Okay.
Thank you.
Besides the emergency
So
part,
we
which
can-
is crazy. Okay, crazy. It's an emergency. What was the last little thing that she said there? Did you catch that?
That is really weird. And you know what? And I did kind of stick on that a little bit the first time I heard it, but now just hearing it again, or possession.
Possession. You can't possess. Well, yes,
It
you can.
outside.
No, you can. Yes, you can. No, you can't.
Wait a minute. I'm going to grow it inside. I'm going to dry it inside. I'm going to roll it up and smoke it inside. But I can't step outside with it because then I'd be guilty of breaking this ordinance.
No, wait a minute. You can't possess it outdoors? No, okay. All right. Look, I keep telling you, I don't want any. But the thing is, possession of it. So you make it into a little cigarette thing that you roll yourself. This is eventually has to change. They're going to need filters and logos on the side and cartoon characters. Okay. But you put this in your pocket. You can't walk around outside with a legal product anymore? What the heck?
Yeah. Listen, understand this. People are going to do this.
This is blatantly illegal.
Oh, it's unenforceable. There's no way they can possibly enforce it. Yeah,
but they just passed this. Did you guys catch that? Did any of you?
And
guys
it was an
catch
emergency.
That? Well, that's insane. But did any of you catch that? You cannot possess it. Now, what does possessing it outdoors mean?
Well, here, hang on a second. Let's listen to that again.
Chapter 5.72, Homegrown and Medical Marijuana, to be amended as follows. Section 5.72.030A2 will now read, all cultivation, drying, curing, storage, production, processing, or possession of marijuana shall be conducted indoors, except that medical marijuana may be cultivated outdoors in accordance with state law until December 31st, 2015. Such outdoor cultivation shall be prohibited thereafter, and declaring an emergency.
Now, see, we got all wrapped up in this cultivation thing, but what did that say?
Yeah,
now, so you can't get in your car because how the heck are you going to get from your car?
Well,
from your house to your car.
You're entitled to grow your 4 plants, and you want to share some of your bounty with Uncle Joe, and so you walk out to the car with a 1/4 ounce in your pocket, and the cops come up and throw you down on the pavement. Is that what happens?
Well, we talk with the chief, and we say what would happen if you had a half bottle of open bottle of whiskey and a half smoked joint. Well, I don't know. Nobody knows. Okay, he's a nice guy, I think. I like to think so. And he wasn't able to answer. But how are you getting it into your car? You can't possess it. What does it mean, possession of marijuana outdoors?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just screwiness. It's not going to amount to anything. This emergency thing is intriguing to me in that I think they just whip out that anytime they want to
what kind of emergency is this?
Yeah, okay. Right. Yes, but they use that because it lends this sense of urgency to it. This has to be done right now.
It's a legislative thing too. How they so quickly. But here, the real point about this is, of course, that's not going to stand. Of course, it's not going to stand. Of course, let's not be stupid. There's nobody that's going to be enforcing this thing about possession. But what about their mindset? What about this kind of thing? Their mindset is they had to include that they had, remember when their lawyers told them, now you cannot let anyone speak at the second reading of this, which is complete BS.
Yes,
now,
right.
Their lawyer wrote this up. Who is this lawyer? And where did he get his law degree? And who is believing this guy who would write in there and put on there? Why was there a single counselor who said, now hold on a second, we just voted on it, or before you vote would be nice, guys. And not Lily Morgan, she's not a guy, but she doesn't come to the meeting, so would you please resign, Lily, give somebody else a chance to get in there and screw this up? Why don't we take this off? Why does this say possession? Take it off of there.
Yeah.
Where are their guts? Aren't they Americans? What, they have no guts anymore?
I think they just want to stop people from, moving the stuff around.
Well, be honest with us, but don't be liars.
It's unenforceable. It's unenforceable.
Yeah, but it's you're right. It is unenforceable, but it's the thought process behind it. We must trust our lawyer. No, we must not trust this lawyer. This is like saying, well, Steve Rich has been in for 20 years, and then he screws us on this thing about the fees. They really did us when they went to court, and it was the commissioners versus the commissioners. Gee, who's going to win? I'm going to put my money on commissioners. Oh, no, these commissioners. No, those. It's the same people. It's a scam.
Yeah, and you know what? If they're screwing this kind of stuff up, it really should send your antenna up to wondering what else are they screwing us up on that we're not paying any attention to, and they're slipping by us every day here.
Well, who's paying attention to this?
And this is the problem.
Go ahead.
No, it's this is what you have to do. This is why it's important that you pay attention to what's going on in local government, because if you don't for even a minute, they're slipping something by you.
Now, this room was full of people, 4 meetings in a row, full of people who are pro-marijuana, okay? Well, we're getting all these emails. You got a room full of people. The emails completely negate for this room being filled up 4 times. Yes, it completely negates. Oh, get stuffed. Okay, all right. So you got all these counselors. You got all these people. You got Jim Moore of the Daily Courier. You got all these folks, and we're the only ones, really the only ones who heard that it's now going to be illegal to possess marijuana outdoors, not smoke it. You can't possess it. Really? We're the only people that heard this? Where the heck are the other politically oriented people? Where are the marijuana smokers? Where are the lawyers? Where is the city lawyer? Where is Mark Bartholomew? Hello, Mark Bartholomew. Where's anyone? Where's the mayor? Where are the city councilors? They voted 6-0 in favor of this. Where are all these people? Why aren't they? Kevin, what's this guy's name? Dennis Roller was editor of our famous newspaper, infamous newspaper. Driving by a couple of years ago, driving by Eugene, I had the local radio on, and they were laughing about the Grants Pass Daily Courier in Eugene. I wouldn't even think they know it exists. It's award-winning newspaper. Okay, here's the thing. Nobody knows that this is in. They just passed it. Okay, so what happened yesterday was I pointed out to the county commissioners that Cheryl Walker is the one that told these guys about Eco Northwest that it was accepted already by the commissioners. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And her answer was, she says, well, you see if I got this paraphrase right here, Mike. It's not the fault of the city manager for saying that. It's certainly not Cheryl's fault. And it's not the fault of the Daily Courier for reporting it without checking it out. It's my fault.
Yes. Yes, you're paraphrasing that correctly, which is an odd thing to say, but yes.
She said it was due that I was repeating, not hearsay, because hearsay is something that happened a long time ago, according to Cheryl Walker. I was repeating gossip
yes.
that from the voices in his head. Gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And the voices in my head. She said it twice. See, I deserve all this scorn and ridicule because I'm a public-spirited citizen that has this show, and we show you videotapes of the commissioner. Oh, we show you videotapes of what the commissioners are actually saying, and simply playing back the videotape with no commentary at all makes me, according to Keith Eck, a lying maggot. When his real fight is with this small inanimate object made of plastic and metal. Because this actually does have the ability to record, despite what he may think, to record what he says. And then we can play it back. We don't have to say anything. Enjoy saying things, but we don't have to. We just play it back for you. When Keith Eck said that saying the Pledge of Allegiance was kind of repetitive, he didn't like the fact that we played that back. And he says, that Dale Matthews, he posts things anonymously. No, I don't. No, I don't. Well, no, why would Keith Eck tell you that I'm posting these things anonymously? It was a stupid little lie because it just sounds even worse.
Yeah, because posting things anonymously is frowned upon. So he thought, hey, I can say that and get away with it. When in reality, most people that watch your stuff know that it says Dale Matthews on the bottom of the video. You know, it's not at all anonymous.
It's so strange. It's like insisting that Mike is doing this show without pants.
Yes, well, you don't know.
Only I know.